Hello, my forget-me-nots. Sleeping Lady here, ASMR. This video is another cook with me, so get comfortable, chill, and relax. Here is a pumpkin spice quick bread mix. I got this from Costco. It is very simple and easy to make and very convenient, but still very delicious. Here I go ahead and take the mixture packet out of the box, and it is nice size. As you can see here, pumpkin bread mix. Pumpkin bread mix. And I just go ahead and prepare to open this package. I go ahead and open it with my turquoise scissors, and I ever so gently pour it in the glass bowl. As you can see here, and it calls for 2 eggs. 2 eggs. And I go ahead and I open the eggs and put them in the bowl. I love how easy this is and quick and fast. That's the second egg. And my favorite is these walnuts. I am so glad walnuts are included in this because it makes it even more bitter and more delicious. But I just plop them in there. Those are the walnuts and the eggs inside this pumpkin mix, and it also calls for half cup of water, and also half a cup of organic extra virgin olive oil. It actually calls for vegetable oil, but I didn't have any vegetable oil. My vegetable oil finished, so I use what I have, which is this olive oil. Olive oil. Organic extra virgin olive oil. And then I gently pour it in to the bowl. And I also tried to mix this ever so gently for you. Nice and gentle. Mix. But I had to give it a little bit of more effort. So I went ahead and put some little more muscle into it, so it could be nice and creamy and nice and distributed and stirred, so I can put it into my pan. And yeah, I make sure there's no powder that's unmixed. And those lumps that you see are the walnuts. But doesn't this batch look so beautiful? Nice and creamy and delicious. So delectable. Just look at the texture. So satisfying. And after my mix is done, I go ahead and get this churn style country crock butter. Country crock churn style butter. And I take a very generous scoop out of the bucket so I can distribute it evenly onto my pan. And I'm very very generous with the butter. Very generous with the butter because it makes it nice and flavorful. I usually don't put anything onto the pumpkin bread mix, I just have it alone. And this also makes up for that because it's nice and buttery and it soaks up all the butter. So that's why I also put a generous amount. So I put it all over the pan. And then after that is complete, I go ahead and pour in this very creamy, heavy batch of the mix into the pan. I try to get as much out of the bowl, if not all. I scrape it up until almost every bit is inside the pan. And then I gently spread it evenly amongst the pan. Spread it evenly. So here is the beautiful batch ready to go in the oven. Beautiful batch ready to go in the oven. So after that is done, I go ahead and I start preparing to cook the pork. And I have these Normandy vegetables. They are the last of the vegetables that we have. There's broccoli, cauliflower, orange, and yellow carrots. And instead of pouring the vegetables in like I usually would, I go in with my hands to pick out the ones that I want, so it could be distributed evenly instead of just pouring it in where there would be more broccoli than cauliflower. You know what I mean? So I just pick up the ones that I want, and so it could be a nice variety. And I just put it all in, so it could be ready when it is their turn to cook. After I get the ones that I wanted, I put back the bag into the freezer. But here is a nice selection of broccoli, cauliflower, yellow and orange vegetables. As you can see, this beautiful mix. And I put that aside so they can wait their turn to cook. And here are the meat that I just go ahead and take out of their container, and I put it aside so it could be nice and handy and quick to cut. And I go ahead and just stack them up right there and just push them down so they won't fall or flip over. And I just noticed that my hands, my nail polish match the pink meat. And that was actually coincidental. But anyways, I cut these meat into bite-sized pieces. I actually wanted to cut them like stir-fry style, like really thin and skinny, how stir-fry usually would look. But my daughter requested that they be cubed bite-sized pieces, so I cut them into bite-size like she requested. And look how pretty they look, nice and pink. So pretty and pink. And spice seasoning, and also extra virgin olive oil, not too much. And then I put a little bit of cornstarch, so it could create thick broth or like a thick consistency. And I also got samjong, if that's how you say it. It's not too spicy, it's just the perfect amount of spice, but that's what I put in it. And also, look at this here, it looks so satisfying because it's almost empty, but this is chili oil with fermented soybean, and I use the last of it, the last of the fermented soybean with chili oil into this dish, and I make sure I get every bit in, every drop. And I actually kept, and we actually keep glass containers, and we just reuse them and wash them. And here is oyster sauce, as you can see. And I don't usually measure when I'm cooking, so I just eyeball. I just use my eyeballs, and I put in 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce. And I go ahead and cover the oyster sauce and put it aside. And then I just start mixing the dish. Mixing the dish. And I go ahead and have that simmer, and I also decided that I am going to add some water. I add that so it can have a little bit of like a pasty consistency along with the cornstarch, because the cornstarch makes it a little bit more thick. And I wanted to add some parsley flakes, so here I go, adding the parsley flakes all over into the dish, as you can see here. And I just go ahead and sprinkle it all in a nice amount into the dish. And I go ahead and I make that simmer. I make it cook. And after I made that cook for a while, I go ahead and dump in the vegetables, the Normandy vegetables, the broccoli, the cauliflower, the yellow, the orange carrots. Into the dish they go, and that creates more of the smoke, as you can see, or the steam. And to kick it off, I put lemon and pepper seasoning onto the vegetables so it could give that little zing. And I love the way that lemon and pepper have the vegetables taste. And I go ahead and I just stir it in. And I love the vegetables to be that perfect crunch, where it's not too crunchy and not too soft. So after I have my meat cook for a while, that's when the meat is almost done, I'll go ahead and pour in the vegetables, so they're not too soft or not too hard, but just right. And I make that cook a little while, and after it is done cooking, my kids wanted to taste test, and that was my daughter getting a bite or two for my son and herself.
Good.
And that is my daughter again. food was done. Rice was already made. So I go ahead and dish my kids. Whenever I cook, I always dish them. I dish everybody that's in the house, my husband and my kids, when dinner is done. And here are the two dishes for my kids. Nice and steamy. One for my son and one for my daughter. And then I go ahead and dish my husband. I give him a good amount. And they can always have seconds if they want. And whatever left over, we usually have it for lunch the next day. And I go ahead and dish my husband here. And that is rice with pork stir fry and vegetables. Steamy. Steamy, steamy. And after we were done eating, the pumpkin bread was ready to eat and hot out of the oven. And I also cooked this for like either dessert, snack, or breakfast the next day. But nice, hot, and ready. And that was our dinner. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you received many